What's up guys? So I recently finished playing Life is Strange Double Exposure and to be honest it was pretty good. For the most part. Usually when it comes to video games, sequels aren't exactly as good as the originals and unfortunately Double Exposure is not the game that's breaking that trend. Yeah, it's far from perfect but it's also not as bad as people make it seem like or sound like. For the meat and potatoes of this video, I'll be talking about the hits Double Exposure have, then I'll get into the misses the game made. With that said, let's get cooking. To summarize the plot of Double Exposure, Max returns as the protagonist with brand new powers, a new set of friends, a new love interest, and a brand new setting for this supposed impossible mystery. Throughout the game, Max tries to solve the mysterious death of her best friend Sophie, but after finding out that she was the one who murdered her, everything unfolds. Max finds out that Sophie has shape-shifting powers due to the amount of stress her mother put her in to be perfect. One day, Sophie wanted the book to get published. This book was about her late best friend Maya Okada, which was unfortunately cancelled for some reason. This led Sophie to take the path of revenge to the people that wronged her and Maya. Gwen Hunter, who was helping Sophie publish her book, cancelled the book deal without a single explanation, becoming a target for Sophie on her revenge marathon. Although she's not the primary target, as Lucas Colmenero, a piece of garbage, plagiarized Maya Okada's work, publishing it as his own, which played a part in Maya's suicide. To make matters worse, Vin Lang, while being a part of their circle of friends during their college days, helped cover up for Lucas to get that assistant position he wanted. All this ultimately leads back to Yasmin, her own mother being the root of everything. Some say it led to nothing but being a pointless part of the plot, but I think otherwise. She wanted to protect Sophie as she's always been doing since her and her husband split. It makes sense for an overprotective mother to overly protect and exaggerate everything in her daughter's life. I get that she has some points, but does it really outweigh your daughter's needs? I personally don't think so. In the end, Sophie leaves to find more people like her, and Max decides to stay ready to face the music. The game, like I said, is a lot better despite of what people say about it, and no, I'm not trying to ride a bandwagon just cause I know someone who worked on it, but it's more so the theme of Max's journey. She's still the same awkward geek we know and love, but she's all grown up. She's a more mature version of herself dealing with life on her own but is still haunted by her traumas. There's moments in the game that gives nostalgia to those who are familiar, but there's also moments that'll keep you on the edge of your seat. I believe the reason why Chloe didn't make an appearance in the game is cause Max is trying to move on with her life on her own. Yes, they did break up and Max was devastated about it, but as she is in the game, she's just trying to move on, not relying on anyone but herself. She's trying to live life with her passion of photography, she's making new friends, and she's even falling in love again. She's not even trying to rely on her powers until they eventually showed up in a different form. Sure, she's secretive about the whole Chloe situation, but it's a dark part of her past that she's not quite ready to discuss yet. And that's just part of the process. I would keep certain things to myself even from people I know that I could trust. And yes, there was a close call where Max nearly called Chloe, but she opted out, and that's progress. Not to mention the side characters that are either compelling or mysterious. Each of them are different, but all have likable and hateable traits. People like Sophie and Moses are the great type of people to have around you. They work like yin and yang, with Sophie being the yin, always ready to get back at the people who do you wrong. And while she's not a straight up villain, the story is ramping up for her villain arc. Moses is the yang. It's always good to have a person who's supportive, sweet, and kind. Someone who's willing to listen just like he did for Max. Amanda and Max, I'm gonna be honest, would make a really great couple. No, not because they're both girls, but because they set boundaries before continuing their relationship. Amanda acknowledging that they shouldn't pursue when Max was grieving in Dead World, or even the fact that she admits her therapist said that she gets attached too easily is healthy. It's an emotion she conveyed to Max. It's a form of proper communication. Something not a lot of couples nowadays actually do, which is really unfortunate. Not only that, but Amanda is being genuine about her feelings too. She wouldn't seem like she has butterflies in her stomach if she does this on a regular basis with just anyone else. For her, Max is special, and I do hope that there's a happy ending for them. Just remember, Chloe was the one who decided to leave and it seems like she's moved on too. No comments on her post, but Victoria gets one? No calls, just a text message after the storm that hit Caledon. Kinda shitty to treat your best friend that way, knowing what they've been through and what they sacrificed for you. And that's why I made the hard decision to kiss Amanda. Cause the future is uncertain and we're not really sure if Chloe will even come back to Max. Gwen Hunter is one of my favorite characters. She's this no-nonsense professor or faculty member that's fun to have around. Despite of what she did, she's an honest and true person to herself. All she wanted was to help Yasmin and Safi not suffer anymore, but she sacrificed everything for that. And that's the way a teacher should be. Anyway, the point is, growing up is learning that nothing stays forever. Not even Pricefield. Not even after sacrificing a whole ass town for your significant other. At least that's the lesson I got from it. I know the devs of Don't Nod clearly stated that the story of Max and Chloe have concluded, but I think the reason why Deck 9 decided to bring Max back, besides profit, was because they wanted to show their message through a well-established character with a past most players have already known about. Unfortunately, that's also kinda why the misses feels like it doubled down on the bad parts of the game. It felt like confronting Max's trauma didn't really sink in with the situation she was in. I'm glad they're trying to make her independent by making her face her fears and having her take control of a situation where everyone's in a state of panic, but fitting it in the middle of everything made it felt like it was rushed. Intense trauma like the one she experienced would take a lot of effort to recover from, and it didn't feel like they gave it time to sink in. At least, not long enough for the players to feel like she's conquered it, and no, she hasn't gotten over it, cause these scenes wouldn't have existed if she had. If they wanted her to go through a series of trials to come out a stronger person than she is now is a great idea, but just like Dragon Ball GT, they had great intentions, just terrible execution. Heck, the plot has holes that can barely be filled. A great example is the double situation. Reggie seeing himself at the Outlook was to foreshadow the fate of Detective Alderman and instill fear in Max that if you touch a copy of yourself, you'll cease to exist. But that was it. Besides Alderman disappearing from existence from both realities, there's nothing else to that plot, but maybe if you squint a little, it also foreshadows the fate of both realities merging together. You really have to look at it hard for it to make sense. It doesn't really occur enough, or there's really no impact to the main story. Plus, this version of Alderman would have to be from Dead World, which would make the foreshadowing impossible since there wouldn't be an Alderman on Living World if Safi wasn't killed. So, unexplained plot hole, or am I missing something here? Another thing is the storm, the freaking catalyst of the original. The existence of the storm was never really explained. Besides it being the end result of Max using her time traveling powers too much, it's never been exactly explained why. It was a part of the original that I always questioned. Now it followed Max to Caledon, which is super confusing to me. There was no storm when Safi was killed, and even the photo didn't have the storm behind it. It wasn't until Max traveled through the photo that the storm appeared. It was even more questionable when somehow Safi remembers the weather being worse than before. It was confirmed that Max killed Safi in Dead World, but if it was Max from Living World that did it, then wouldn't Max from Dead World disappear? Would that also mean that every time Dead World Max travels through the Living World, the Max on that world would just be in a constant state of coma? It's why I'm confused. It's not really explained in detail how her new powers work, or at least what happens to the other Max. Even if either one's consciousness gets transferred to the other, wouldn't she still know or be aware of what she's doing or have done? I'm sorry, it's a loophole that I'm getting into deep about, and it's super confusing to me. point is, the game has goods and bads. It's just a matter of which side you lean onto the most, and despite of the bad facts I stated, I'm still leaning more on the good. I'll be staying loyal to a game I fell in love with and stick to it. And if it means having bad taste, well, that's just subjective. But just remember, some people like there is another saving grace. The reason why I kept saying yet or for now or whatever is because Max Caulfield will be making a comeback on another installment of the Life is Strange franchise. Now I'm not sure if Max is still going to be the protagonist, because in every Life is Strange game, the DLCs usually feature someone else. They might feature Sophie as the protagonist or antagonist, but it feels like Max will only appear and reappear, or she'll be like an NPC. Her powers are gone now that Dead World and Living World have basically merged together, and the end cutscene credits, whatever you want to call it, features Sophie recruiting Diamond because Diamond's manifesting her powers now. All the Life is Strange games are connected with each other in some way or form. But that's something I'll be looking forward to, and I hope other people who grew up and fell in love with Max also does. We'll see if Chloe will finally make a reappearance or an appearance in Double Exposure, but we'll see how it goes. But that's it for the video. Comment down below if you like the game or not. I'm open to opinions. With that said, please like the video, consider subscribing. That's it. Take care of yourself. Peace.